Hello there. Are we live? Let's make sure we're live and kicking. I just figured something out. I figured out that it's a lot more difficult to do live guitar lessons than it is to do recorded guitar lessons, because on a recorded guitar lesson, you can play the parts perfectly and get it until you get it perfect. When you're doing a live one, if you haven't all the way mastered the part, like I've almost got this one down, but I haven't all the way mastered it, then you sound like a dork if you keep on messing it up. But I am choosing to do live anyway. Let's make sure we're live, make sure we're recording audio. Nice. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. All right, we have a friend, Deegan Bennett, in the house. Thanks for joining. This song, I have to admit, is tricky. It's a hard song to learn, I think. For me, it was, at least. There's some tricky things about it. And so I'm not going to go through and show you how to do I'm not going to show you every note and everything like I would do in some kind of other videos. For me, when trying to explain how to play a finger picking song, I usually just refer to the tabs. And I got a link to the tabs that I use in this description. And so I recommend looking at it very slowly or very carefully, and then just going really slowly and getting the finger picking right where it lands. I'm not sure if that's making any sense, but hey, what's up? Vipe, how are you? Thanks for joining. But it's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky, and so I'm not going to try to explain every little note here, but I will refer you to the description or the link in the description. But I do have some thoughts about it. The first part's easy-ish. You're just basically hitting all open strings, the E, the G, the B, and the E. And you're using your thumb, your pointer finger, your middle finger, and your ring finger in that order. And then you go back down. So that's pretty easy. This part's hard, pretty tricky, depending on your hand size. Because this is one of my thoughts about the song. It can be tricky if you have small hands like me. You have to have your pointer finger on the second fret of the E, and then your ring finger and your pinky on the fifth fret of the B and the G. No, the G and the B. So it can be tricky. A workaround, if your hands are small, you could go. You could take your fingers off for a second, but I find if you do it like this with your thumb over, it also is funny because sometimes I can nail it right away, but sometimes it's kind of stretchy, and so that's a difficult part. And again, one way around it is you can just kind of go. If you want to, you could take your pinkies and ring finger off the fifth fret, and then put it back. Or you can keep on trying to. So that's one note. real slow again. You know, the truth is this part was hard for me. Because you're doing some, I just wasn't used to doing the 2-string on the E and the B. Because you're hitting that twice, the high E and the B. That's not bad. I just use my middle finger and my ring finger. Then you do the next part. You're hitting the B string in addition to these 2 notes. And then again there. And so for some reason that was difficult for me. I'm not really sure. I had to figure out, and you might have to mess with it to figure out which fingers work best for you. I've been kind of going back and forth. But I've decided to use my pointer finger and my middle finger on the right hand. Because then I'm ready to do this next. Again, this is another. Again, the fingering is just a huge thing. This chord. Okay, now I got my words didn't come out right. Bottom line is it's the fingering is what it's all about. You got to find out where you got to get it where your fingers are ready for the next part. And so me using the pointer finger and my middle finger on this first part helps it when I get to the other part. When I get to this part, because this part you definitely have to have it. Definitely have to use your thumb to hit the open A, your pointer finger to hit the 5th fret of the G, and then your pinky, and then using your middle finger to hit the 5th fret of the B, because then you're going to also use your ring finger to hit the open E. And I guess you could argue to do it with these 3. With your pinky. But to me it makes more sense like that. So then you're going to have to go. You're hitting all 4 of those strings. Another tricky part is sometimes it is, for some reason, this heart, that note doesn't ring out. You're taking your pointer finger. You're taking it and moving it back. And again, for some reason, sometimes when my finger's landing, it doesn't work right, but then sometimes it will land correctly. And so it's part of the mastering process. But it's interesting how it works. This is not an easy song. If I have my thumb up over the top, it makes it easier. Sometimes. Whoops. What am I doing there? I'm doing something wrong there. Brain fart. That's pretty much the coolest part of the song. That's such a really cool lick. Always want to do the wrong one. That's one of the coolest licks in the whole song. And then you have to decide which finger works the best for you. Fingers. I love that. How do you make up that? How do you make something like that up? And the next part is fairly easy. It's just chords. Whoa, my brain's not working. The only thing tricky about that is I would say start do the low E with your thumb, and then you do the A with your thumb as well, and kind of start it there. So you have enough fingers to cover the whole string, the whole span of strings. That's just a chord. It's an E minor. But I will say this is a really fabulous guitar part. Maybe one of the best guitar pieces of Metallica. Maybe not, but it's pretty. This is really unique. One challenge is to make sure you're doing it in the right time. You're not like going to, you're not all over the place with the tempo. Such a cool part. I'm gonna, I haven't mastered it yet, but I'm getting there. The key is like if you, really, for me, I had to work at it a lot. My hours. I was gonna do this video yesterday and I wasn't ready yet. I just learned the whole thing yesterday. Every time. It does it little cool. So anyway, even this part can be tricky sometimes if you're not used to doing it. Like some people will use their pinky to keep it stable. I don't do that, so it's a little bit more difficult. That would make it easier. I use my wrist resting against the guitar to keep my hand where it needs to be. That's a really cool lick. You can almost do it like that, but it doesn't pull off enough. On that part, for some reason, I use my ring finger to hit that first one, then I use my middle finger for the other two. And when I'm doing it right, I have my thumb actually leaning on the G string, kind of giving it support. Obviously the hardest part for me. I've got so small hands. Now all of a sudden it fits. I don't know why. Satisfying. are my thoughts on pretty much the parts. Again, this part for me is the hardest because my hand is so small. This part, well, I'll show you. This one can be sometimes tricky as well. What I do is just keep on isolating the part. Like I'll get this mastered more, but I'll just sit here and do this for 30 minutes. Yeah, so that's pretty much the video. I'm just giving you some tips. The link is in the description of the one I used, and I would just recommend you going really slow and figuring out where the notes land. It's like with the finger picking songs, a lot of times you have to do that, because they're hard to figure out exactly when you're picking what. And me trying to say, here, you do this here, I mean, I think it'd be harder to explain and probably just confuse you when if you had the tab right in front of you, then you're good. And so I just gave you some tips, that helped me. And other than that, I'm just going to play it for a few more times and then I'll close out. Slower, maybe it'll help somebody. Yeah, I love that part. I love doing that with my thumb locked on the G string. I just thought of a tip. No, I forgot what it was. Let me think about it. It was a helpful tip. Oh yeah, when you're doing this part, keep the low E ringing. Kind of hides your errors. It makes it sound better, at least. That face over here saying he disagrees with my little point right there. He looks like he's kind of like, him. Is he disagreeing with my point there? He's like, I don't know if that's true or not. You should probably. No, I'm just kidding. I'm in Hetfield's way. Sorry, dude. Yeah. most part. All right, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to think if there's any more tips. I can't think of any other tips other than to really work on it. A lot, Again, some people it might be easier for if you're used to this kind of song. It was just hard for me. I'm pretty good at finger picking actually, but for some reason this is kind of combining finger picking with some other stuff. So anyway, but thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe to see more. Peace.